Welcome to another episode of Creating the Perfect Album. Except the only difference is today we're going to create 3 perfect albums. Yes, the Hellamega tour bands, what would each of their perfect albums look like? Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day. I picked songs that I think would just work well together throughout the discography of each of these bands. So let's just start off with the team that was first on the bill, that being Weezer. Now I decided to give Weezer 10 songs because I feel like that's like the average for a lot of their albums. When they do release one, it's always 10 songs. And I decided to call this one the Tangerine album because, you know what? Weezer has a lot of colored albums that are self-titled, and it fits very well. Just the Tangerine album, okay? Tangerine is a color, alright? And it's also a fruit, so take that as you will. But yes, the first song would definitely be My Name is Jonas, the ultimate kickoff, my favorite Weezer song. I just feel like it would really just do its justice for what to expect for the record, and that would also be one of the 5 singles. Then the second song and the second single have to have Undone, the sweater song. I mean, you just can't have a Weezer album without this song on here. It's an utter classic. Then in the third slot, I felt like, you know, after the intensity of the first 2 tracks, we tone it down a bit with Island in the Sun. I feel like it's a perfect third track to kind of ease you back into things that are coming up, like Buddy Holly, which would be my 4th track overall. Again, just kind of up the intensity. The 5th track and the 3rd single, we're going to have Pork and Beans. Just so much fun. Again, I really don't think you can make a perfect Weezer album and not include Pork and Beans. Like, it's just so fun. It gives you everything you want from Weezer. And then in track number 6 and single number 4, we have El Scorcho, the, I think, Pinkerton highlight overall. When people think Pinkerton and a single off of it, they definitely go to this one. It's just fun again, I think, you know, taking you back to what Weezer used to do. Then track 7, we have Hash Pipe, again, just kind of keeping with the fun, upbeat aesthetic with things. Hash Pipe can definitely be one of those songs that, again, when you make a Weezer album, you can't leave it off. At 8, had to include their Africa cover. I mean, it gained popularity, and again, I feel like this would give you like a different look at the band with the way this album is going, doing a different thing than what we have been hearing from the first 7 tracks. And then track 9, we get a little heavier with Blue Dream off of Van Weezer. Again, I feel like this would just fit so well as the second to last track because it kind of gives you something before going into track 10, the 10th and final song, and the 5th and final single for this album, Say It Ain't So. It's just a perfect finisher to me because of the way it starts and the way it finishes. It's definitely going to, you know, leave you wanting more in the end, which is what a closing track should do. Like, you'd be like, okay, the album's over, but I really want more, I really want to listen again, and Say It Ain't So is definitely that track overall. So there's the perfect Weezer record. Now we're going to move on to the perfect Fall Out Boy record, the team that performs after Weezer. Now with Fall Out Boy, I did 11 tracks because really, again, I think that's like if you take all their albums and average out the, you know, track listing, the number of songs on it, 11 seems to be where they usually end up. And I'm titling this album, Where Is Your Album? I Hope It's Finished, because it's been a while and I really want them to, you know, release a new album soon because we are coming up on 4 years since Mania was released, so Fall Out Boy, hurry up, please. The first song and the first single would have to be Dance Dance. I mean, just the way the drums kick off and the bass line kick in, it feels like it could be a perfect kickoff on any other of their albums. Then track 2, single 2, has to be Sugar We're Going Down. It's like Weezer's Undone, the sweater song. You can't make a perfect Fall Out Boy record without Sugar We're Going Down. You just can't do it. Track 3, we have Wilson, Expensive Mistakes. This is where we see the experimenting start taking place, but it's still got the high intensity of the other songs that you barely notice, really, in this case. Then we go to track 4, the 3rd single, My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark. Again, it's just a great upbeat song, a pop rock track that won't piss too many people off for the little, you know, experimenting that they are currently doing on this record. Track 5, going with a deep cut off of American Beauty, American Psycho, and The Kids Aren't Alright. No, This is not an Offspring cover, this is Fall Out Boy's own original song, and it's always been one of my favorites personally, and the fact that it was never made a single is criminal to me. But yes, again, I feel like this can give, you know, a different interpretation of what the band's going for on this record, and it just does a nice job, and I think putting it smack dab in the middle at number 5 is the right thing to do. Then, track number 6 and the 4th single, This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race. We're getting back to kind of the more pop punk kind of stuff, even though this song isn't really pop punk per se, but you know, it kind of has that aesthetic to it. I feel like, again, it'll get you back into the album and more focused as to what's to come. And then we go from that to Centuries, which again, you know, take away the pop punk aesthetic and you just got this punk rock stadium track, but it's Centuries. Gotta put it on here or else you just don't have a complete Fall Out Boy record. Then track 8 and 9, we're actually going back to their first record with Dead on Arrival and Grand Theft Auto Where Is Your Boy. I feel like now you want to kind of stick with just the strictly rock stuff or where we're headed next to end the album, but these two songs are definitely classics that belong on here. Then the second to last track, at track 10, we have Dear Future Self, Hands Up. Yeah, I know, it's weird, I added something that ended up on their second greatest hits record, but I feel like for what is the second to last track on an album, it can definitely do its job to lead you in to the final track, which at track 11 and the final track, I have What a Catch Donnie, which is also the 5th and final single. Again, I think with the way it flows in and out, it's just a perfect album finisher, and like Weezer's album, you want to go back and you want to listen again when it's all said and done. So, now, the final band, the big band, the main band on the bill, I should say, even though all three of them were basically the main acts, but Green Day was the one that orchestrated the Hellamega tour, making them the, you know, must-see in that whole entire tour. It's Green Day with an album that I named to honor Dookie, and this album would be called Pee Pee Poo Poo, because, you know, it's Green Day. They can get away with saying shit like that or entitling their albums that. It's just how they roll, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can make an album title like that and yet make a serious album, which is kind of what we have here. It's a pretty political album when I look at it for the songs that I put on here, but the opening track and the first single has to be American Idiot. I mean, come on, like, what other Green Day song would you want kicking off an album? I'm just saying, like, name another Green Day song that you think would be a better kickoff than American Idiot. That's right, none? I didn't think so. Track 2, we have She, just a nice technical deep cut off of Dookie, but it's a fan favorite. They actually did play it live when I was there, and I can say, still holds up. Track number 3 is Holiday off of American Idiot. Again, I feel like this will get us back into more of the political stuff that we're coming to expect from them at this point in this record. So putting it at number 3 after a song like She is definitely pretty good. Then we go from there to the second single I would have on this album, St. Jimmy. I mean, St. Jimmy is one of those ones, again, criminally underrated. Should have been a single. I don't know what happened there. But yes, putting it at track number 4 right after Holiday, I feel like, again, it would just flow very nicely. Number 5, Oh Yeah, we gotta get more of like the catchy sing-songy song by Green Day on here, and Oh Yeah definitely does that. Again, it's a fan favorite. It was a single that hit number 1 on the rock charts for a while, so it has a place in this record somewhere. Then track 6, and the third single for this record, we would have East Jesus Nowhere. Again, criminally underrated, should have been a single for Green Day, but this kind of gets you back in the thick of things with like, oh, this is the more upbeat stuff, and we're getting a little bit more political again. But then we go straight from that, number 7, where we go into Basket Case, which is also the 4th single for this record. Now we just get to a song about just panic attacks and whatnot, like having a panic attack and doubting yourself. Again, I feel like it just kind of fits with the theme that we have going here of just, well, I don't know, the album's named Pee Pee Poo Poo, so you can go anywhere with it. Then track 8, we go from Basket Case to Longview, another Dookie classic that, again, has to be on a Green Day album when you're talking about perfect songs, or else you don't have a perfect Green Day album. Then track number 9 and the 5th and final single, we have Hitching a Ride. It's a single but it's a criminally underrated one. Then 10 and 11 kind of play off each other just because they're two separate songs on a record, but the radio will actually play them together. That's Brain Stew and Jaded. I mean, you can't have Brain Stew without Jaded. It just doesn't work. That's why when they put out their recent Greatest Hits record and they had Brain Stew on it, to not have Jaded on there, like they did it with their first Greatest Hits record. They had Brain Stew and then Jaded. Like, it just doesn't work to cut it off after the fade out and Brain Stew. You gotta go right into Jaded. So I had to include those two on here. And to finish it off with the 12th and final track, by the way, I gave Green Day 12 tracks because if you pretty much add the track listing to their albums up, it pretty much comes out to 12. But anyway, the final song has to be Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. This is the song they finish with live, and again, it's just the perfect closer that kind of eases you out of things and makes you go, huh, okay, that was an interesting listen. So yeah, those were the perfect albums, in my opinion, for Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day. The songs that you would put on an album of theirs to make it a perfect 10 out of 10. Like, after they create these albums, they probably wouldn't have to make a single album again because they would just be so good and they'd be hard to follow up that anything after those would just be just so underwhelming in this case. But yeah, you can tell me in the comments below, what would your perfect Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day record be? Or if you're a fan of one and not the other two, give me that. If you're a fan of two and not the other one, then just give me two of them. I don't really care. Just tell me what your perfect albums from these bands or one of these bands would look like in your opinion. Give me the singles you would have. Give me the names of the records if you want to. Have fun with it. I don't care. That is it. Stay safe out there. Wear your mask. Get vaccinated. And until then, I will catch you all in the next one.